Hey guys, my name is Adam Havens, and I want to tell you a story about how God and Freeway has helped change my life around for the better. Back a little while ago, around when I was 14, I really started looking for acceptance in everything in others, and I didn't ever focus on what God needed me to do. And I said that foxhole prayer that, God, please come into my life and save me, but I never really could mean it or act out what God was wanting for me to do. And so a lot of the times I was always searching for the people's acceptance, what they wanted for me to do and how they wanted me to look and how they wanted me to talk. And it really took its toll on me because I started getting into the wrong crowd and hanging out. And your parents always say you hang around fire long enough you're going to get burned, and I can say 100% that's truth. And I started hanging out with these kids and we started smoking cigarettes. Well, smoking cigarettes somehow escalated to drinking beer and then smoking pot. And I started hanging out with a lot of girls, and this one acceptance that I was looking for was this really beautiful girl that I was with, and I was really struggling with how I was looking at the time. And one time I came home, I'm like, well, I'm never going to look good enough for her if I keep eating like this. And so that was the start of the biggest addiction I've ever had, and that was bulimia. And I struggled with it really badly. It was for longer than I was even smoking cigarettes and drinking and everything. It would go on and off throughout the years. I would be really good at not doing it for a month or two, and then it would be every day. I wouldn't even get anything in my stomach. Well, and everything just escalated. I moved out at the age of 17 and started selling a lot of drugs and started just partying all the time and hanging out. Acceptance in others and not focusing on anybody else but myself, being very selfish. And came down to it, I moved back in with my parents, and we never got along at all, just because they were really strong in their faith with Jesus Christ, and I didn't want anything to do with it. So I kept selling drugs in their house and getting drunk and everything. Well, it comes down to it, I moved out into this house with a cop and a guy in the Army Reserves, and they supplied all of my alcohol and everything, because I was preaching one of those nights. And he spoke this message that hit me so hard. It was Psalms 23, the Lord is my shepherd. And to think that I can always run back to a Father that loves me and cares for me no matter what I do, it's the greatest feeling I've ever known. I went into this treatment center called Sigma House, and I'm not going to give any glory to a treatment center or a rehabilitation center for me staying sober and being who I am right now today, because through that I went and heard one of the greatest messages I'd ever heard in my life. We went every Friday night. They would take us up to this thing called Redemption Ministries, and it just so happened that John Stroop was preaching one of those nights, and he spoke this message that hit me so hard. It was Psalms 23, the Lord is my shepherd. And to think that I can always run back to a Father that loves me and cares for me no matter what I do, it's the greatest feeling I've ever known. Like I have a Father that I can run to and say, He's my shepherd, He's my Father, and I can call on Him any time of day. And that really hit me hard. Well, I told this counselor that I was seeing at the time that I was really struggling with bulimia, and he didn't really do much about it until the very end of this treatment center. He said, you know what, I'm not going to let you leave unless you do this. And finally I was like, man, why is all this still so hard to deal with? And I sat down and I realized it's because I had not surrendered my life to Jesus Christ, the one who is really going to save me from all of this. So on August 19th, I bowed my head into my hands and I cried out to God and said, I can't do this anymore. I'm putting my life in your hands, and I'm gonna follow you and do what you need from me. And turns out, I still struggle with a lot of it. It's not all easy being a Christian, but I can tell you one thing: the greatest feeling I have is having a Savior that is going to forgive me, and I can run to no matter what I do. I can call on His name even if I do make a mistake, and He's going to forgive me and love me the same, because He died for me just so I can feel the love of Christ. And now I don't suffer with bulimia. I don't smoke or drink or anything. I've been sober for 9 months, and I love it, every single bit of it. And through Christ and a lot of the people that I've had to help me out, Mike A., John Stroop, Rick Lechner, every single person that works and volunteers at Freeway keeps me going spiritually, because they're all mentors and they all are someone that I can look up to whenever I have some kind of need in my life. So I just like to say that I love Freeway, and if you ever get a chance to come down to it, try it out. It's a great opportunity to meet new people and friendships and mentors, and it's nothing. It's not like any other program, AA or anything. It doesn't have anything on that. It's one of the greatest programs I've ever been to, and that's because Jesus Christ is in it, 100%.